Hello, and thank you for joining me. My name is Benedicta. I am the founder of Woman on Purpose. I am so glad that you could join me on this journey of the discovery of biblical womanhood. The Lord has laid so much on my heart about what it means to be a woman on purpose, and I'm sure you're wondering, and for the fact that you're watching this video, I'm sure you are trying to find out, what is this about? What is she talking about? Why does she keep on sending me videos and links and all of that? And so I really just want to share initially the heart of Woman on Purpose, from the top. Just a quick summary. There is so much to go into, but I just want to share with you the 4 areas that God laid on my heart, which sum up into Woman on Purpose. The first of these is being created on purpose. This is about understanding the background and the context of why God created us as women. Why, in that garden, after all of the creatures and creatures that God created, after man in all his masculinity and power and strength, all the animals, the beautiful flowers, God still felt that there was a need to create a woman. Everything else God created was created because God wanted to create it, but a woman was created because there was a need. And I want to be looking at the importance of that, the foundation of our existence here on the earth. The key here is to understand the need for the woman and the intent in the mind of God when he created her. Because there is intent in every aspect of our creation. There is the need to understand the different components of our beings in order to maximize and fully utilize the tools, the gifts, and also the natural and divine wiring that God has created on the inside of us. We cannot live our lives to the fullest if we do not recognize our uniqueness and difference that only we as women bring. Quite often people like to put women down and they like to, relegate them to the back. And I just thank God that, that's not his plan. Man might do that. Mr. Miles Monroe, of blessed memory, he said, when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. And I just want to say that if we as women can know our purpose, it will help us along the way to hopefully avoid abuse and rise up to the challenge of life. We're going to be looking at living on purpose. Now that we know that God created us on purpose and that we are alive, why would God allow us to live? There has been hatred between mankind and the enemy from the beginning of time, from the Garden of Eden. But in particular, there has been particular hatred between the enemy and the woman. From the beginning to the end of the Bible, there is a constant threat of the enemy to snuff out the life of the woman and the seed she carries. Understand that the fight of the enemy is not just against you, but it's against your seed. When the Bible talks about when the enemy sinned and man sinned and the great fall in the Garden of Eden, the Bible said that the serpent would bite the heel of the woman, but that she and her seed rather would be able to defeat his head. And so from the beginning of that time, the enemy has been going after the seed of the woman. So understanding that the devil is there and he's trying to get you. But, God is able to make the woman to prevail every single time, from Genesis all the way to Revelation. God always wins. He always wins, even in particular in my life. And I'll be sharing in great detail about, a 3 to 4 year period that I went through where I was very sick. And I literally felt like the enemy was trying to snuff out the life of me. He was literally, trying to take the breath away from me. But I thank God, because even when the doctors couldn't understand, and even I couldn't understand how I was still alive, and what I went through, people go through half of that and they faint and they fall, but at no point did I fall or faint. Many times I had to go to the hospital, but every time I took myself to the hospital, and even the doctors were astounded at how I was still living. And I knew that it was God who was supernaturally sustaining me to make me to be alive on purpose. And so I want to encourage you, about, you know, thinking about your life and the fact that whatever you've been through, whatever abuse you might have been through, whatever injustice, whatever it is, whatever pain, challenges, God has made you to be alive on purpose. And so we're going to be exploring that. Also looking at walking on purpose. What does it mean now that I'm alive, now that God has kept me alive? You know, when you realize that you are allowed to be alive, you are allowed to live by God supernaturally sustaining you, doesn't it make you wonder why? You know, there must be great reason in, you know, God does nothing without a purpose. He does nothing for just for the sake of it. So not minding the attacks of the enemy, not minding whatever the enemy wants to do, because God is bigger than his plans, because God is bigger than every plan of the enemy to take you out. God has allowed you to live. So now the question I put to you as a woman is, okay, you're living. So what are you living for? What have you got in your hands? What have you got in your home? What have you got in your heart that God, you know, is allowing you to live for? What can you do with the things that you have? How can you maximize every single day that you are living on this earth? We're going to be looking at that. And I'm sure we all know the Proverbs 31 woman. She is a great woman. She puts us to the test as 21st century woman. If that woman could be doing all she was doing in that time, how much more us as 21st century women with all the tools, all the techniques, and, you know, all the wonderful things that we have available at our hands. I'm going to be talking about that and looking deeper. But last but not least, one of the major things and why the whole thing is called Woman on Purpose is looking at that final purpose. Understanding why you were created as a woman, knowing that you're living because God is supernaturally sustaining you, putting your hands to work at maximum capacity, regardless of the trials and the tribulations or whatever you've been through. All of that is very good. But we as women should not let the busyness of being a woman on purpose stop us from being that woman for that one purpose. I'm sure we all know that there are many women in the Bible who God used mightily to do miraculous things, to do big things. The redemptive plan of God on the earth would not have been complete without a woman. The Bible is filled with many of these women who achieved that one purpose. And I want to challenge you, as well as challenging myself, to find and to explore that one purpose. Many of us will have many things that we do. Many of us will be great at this and that and this and that and this and that. But ultimately, I believe that there is one thing that God would put on your heart that is actually greater than every other thing. I'm privileged to be here to share this with you. This is not my word. This is what God has laid on my heart, left to me. Honestly, I wouldn't want to do this, but you know, God has really put this on my heart. And so I'm sharing, and I know that there must be a reason. I know that there are great women. There are great Deborahs. There are great Jaels. There are great Esthers. There are great Marys, Annas, and all sorts out there, and God is probably putting something in particular on your heart for you to do. And maybe you're concerned, maybe you're scared, maybe you think I'm not worthy, or I'm not the one for the job. Woman, I'm telling you, you are the woman for that one purpose. Nobody else is going to do it like you would do it. Nobody else is going to do it better than you. God put it on your heart for a reason, because he knows that you can deliver to the level and to the extent that he wants you to deliver. And so this is just a summary of the different areas that Woman on Purpose is going to look to explore. I hope that you would join me on a weekly basis, a monthly basis, whatever it is, however the Lord will allow, as we explore biblical womanhood. I look forward to hearing and seeing your comments and sharing with you again in the future. Do have a blessed day, and I say may the Lord keep you, may the Lord bless you, may he cause his face to shine upon you, may you tread upon the head of the serpent every single day that you go out. Take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.